talk about mistakes that you might make when fishing a chatterbait. Look, this is going to be a very short video because one thing I love about a chatterbait, there's really not that much you can do wrong with this guy. If you're fishing it and you're knocking it around into some type of structure, grass, bottom, rocks, sand, whatever you're fishing, as long as you're knocking it into that, whatever that structure is, you're probably fishing it right. But there's a couple things that you need to definitely avoid when fishing a chatterbait. So let's talk about them here. We're going to start with it. You notice I put the chatterbait down when I said that. We're going to start right here with the rod and reel. This is where I see the most mistakes made when fishing a chatterbait. Using too fast of a reel. A chatterbait is a very erratic bait. If you ever seen a chatterbait on the water, it dances, it's doing a lot of stuff. It's doing the backstroke, it's doing everything. It's a very, very erratic bait. And it pretty much does everything you need it to do on its own. You don't have to really do a lot of manipulating the bait with it. And when you use a reel that is too fast, the bait just doesn't do what it's designed to do. It it'll want to rise a little bit. It won't get down to the structure like it's supposed to do. So I like to use a reel in the sixes and slower. My preferred reel is a 6:3 to 1 gear ratio reel. I use when I'm throwing a chatterbait, and I pair it with like 20-pound test fluorocarbon, and I get at it. That doesn't matter if I'm fishing in Florida or if I'm fishing up here in South Carolina or if I'm fishing in New York. It's 20-pound test fluorocarbon and a slower reel, 6.8 to 1, 6.3 to 1, or slower. I think the bait just does what it's designed to do better on a slower retrieve. Second thing that I think you really should avoid when you're fishing a chatterbait could cause some problems. I don't want to say avoid it, but something you should definitely be aware of or mindful of when you're fishing a chatterbait is your trailer. I don't use just one type of trailer. You see, Z-Man makes a lot of different style trailers, all from shad style trailers to things that aren't even meant to be trailers that I use for soft plastics on a chatterbait. One that is obviously designed for a chatterbait is the razor shad. You see, it's got a shad-shaped body on it. It's got a serrated tail on it, so it has a little bit more action. Let me tell you something. It's not always the best option for trailers when it comes to throwing a chatterbait. Sometimes I like to throw guys like this. I like to throw a small 4-inch swim bait that has a paddle tail on it. It gives off a little bit more vibration in the water with the paddle tail. It displaces, it's bigger. Sometimes when I want to keep the chatterbait up high, if I'm fishing really shallow grass or something where the water column is a lot less than normal, I'll put a big hunk of plastic on it like that. So I'll take a creature bait. I'll take like the palmetto bugs. See how the body is really big on that guy? That doesn't let the bait dive down as deep when I'm fishing in grass or if I'm fishing around docks. In springtime where I live, our fish like to suspend under docks a lot. And if I'm fishing in stained water, I want to be able to keep that bait up high, but I don't want to reel it so fast when I'm fishing around those docks. Using a big hunk of plastic like that causes more resistance in the water, and I can slow my retrieve down, keep it in the strike zone a lot longer, and keep it high in the water column. So I'll use something like that. I've even used Karls as trailers on my chatterbaits as well. I'll take the turbo Karls and use that guy for a trailer. So don't get into the rotation of only using plastics or trailers that are designed for chatterbaits. Be very creative with it. Think outside the box with your trailers, because that's going to allow you to do different things with the bait that you wouldn't normally be able to do. Another mistake that I see, most of the time when you pull a chatterbait out of the box, it looks like this, right? You got your head, you got your skirt, you throw plastic on there, take off down the bank, and you start fishing. Everybody does that. Something that I do. I'm going to let the cat out the bag here. I'm not going to charge you anything extra. I'm going to charge Z-Man. I won't charge you guys for this one right here. What I like to do, especially when I'm fishing really thick vegetation, I take my skirt, all right, throw it away. I throw it just like this. That didn't go in the lake, guys. Don't worry about it. Throw just a single swim bait on my chatterbait with no skirt. Something magical happens with a chatterbait when you don't put a skirt on it. This is a diesel minnows that I'm rigging this guy up on here. Where I like to fish this is in really, really, really heavy vegetation. I'm fishing a heavy hydrilla. It's really thick. I like to throw it like this. The bait is way more erratic this way. When I'm having a hard time getting a fish to bite, when it's during a cold front condition, when you really got to have something to make a fish react to it, I throw my chatterbaits without a skirt on them. I use, this is obviously the diesel minnows that I'm using here. I've also used just a straight up razor shads on the chatterbait head itself. Makes the bait way more erratic. I can fish it deeper as well. When I'm throwing it in that grass and I throw it really, and I'm hopping it, jerking it out, the way that the bait falls down is much more erratic. I jerk it one time, it goes to the left. I jerk it next time, it goes to the left. When you throw a chatterbait just like this, it's a totally different action, and it's a different profile that they don't normally see. They're seeing 1,000 different skirts go through the grass all the time. You come through with this guy right here snaking through the grass, sashaying, it'll get you an extra bite sometime. Has more lifelike profile. Sometimes I think it's just better to use. So chatterbait, it's easy. There's not a lot of stuff you can do wrong when you're fishing the chatterbait. Fish it slow, experiment with your chatterbait trailers, and don't be scared to take that skirt off. Another mistake I see you guys make a lot of times, matchy, matchy, matchy. You say, I got a green pumpkin chatterbait, I got to have a green pumpkin trailer. That's fine if you want to do that. This is the way I do it in my boat. I actually only have 3 color chatterbaits in my boat. I keep a green pumpkin, I keep black and blue, and I keep a shad pattern. That might be thread fin or some type of sexy shad, a shad pattern. What I actually like to do is I change out my trailer colors. So I may throw a green pumpkin chatterbait, but I'll throw a wild color like a chartreuse trailer on the back of it. Break it up. Don't feel like you got to be matchy, matchy, matchy. That's a mistake I often see guys make. Take a black and blue, put something wild on it. Take the deal and put that on black and blue. You'd be surprised with all the action that a chatterbait has. Those fishes are getting a glimpse of every different color the more that bait moves. So I like to throw things that people wouldn't normally throw. Mix match your colors. You'd be surprised how good that stuff looks when you mismatch it, and it also gets you an extra strike every now and then.